You know, becoming the world's #1 brand for beauty device systems for 6 consecutive years. That's no cakewalk. But Nu Skin? We've got science, innovation, and hard work in our DNA. It wasn't always glitz and glam. We started with a dream back in 1984, just a few products and a whole lot of ambition. And by 1991, we were taking on the world, opening our first overseas market in Hong Kong. LifePak was out there, making waves alongside our big entrance into Europe. Then came 1996, a big year. We hit the New York Stock Exchange, a publicly traded company founded on family values. And we also launched the Nu Skin Force for Good Foundation. That is all about spreading positivity and making the world a better place. In our pursuit of promoting healthy lifestyles and inner well-being, we acquired Pharmanex in 1998, introducing supplements and wellness programs to our markets. In 2001, we pioneered the handheld galvanic spa, a compact, intelligent, and powerful device that marked Nu Skin's entry into the era of cutting-edge devices. Nu Skin establishing Nourish the Children in 2002, we committed to the belief that no child should endure hunger. We want to empower future generations one meal at a time. And to date, we've provided over 800 million meals. Continuing our commitment to technological innovation, we launched the Pharmanex Biophotonic Scanner in 2003. In 2009, we revolutionized our product line with age-lock science-based products and forging a partnership with LifeGen Technologies. In 2010, our founder's vision materialized, with the creation of the Innovation Center in Provo, serving as an open campus for our employees and brand affiliates. Our partnership with LifeGen flourished, culminating in Nu Skin's acquisition of LifeGen in 2011, opening doors to faster innovation, revolutionary products, and limitless possibilities. In 2015, Nu Skin's incentive trip to Morocco won the prestigious C&IT Award for Best Incentive Trip of the Year, a tradition we continued with our island trip. We earned Euromonitor's recognition as the world's #1 brand for beauty device systems in 2016, and we've proudly held that title for 6 consecutive years. Venturing into the Internet of Things realm in 2022, we connected our first device online, the ageLOC Lumispa IO, ushering in a new era of connectivity and innovation. This laid the foundation for the launch of our integrated beauty and wellness device, the ageLOC WellSpa IO in 2023. With 40 years of dedication to science, innovation, and perseverance, we stand poised to embrace the boundless opportunities that lie ahead. Just imagine the opportunity.
What if you could actually know your skin's carotenoid level? Well, that's what Pharmanex Biophotonic Scanner is all about. The scanner uses a Nobel Prize-winning technology called resonant Raman spectroscopy to quickly, accurately, and painlessly measure skin carotenoid levels using nothing more than light. The carotenoids are responsible for red, yellow, and orange colors in fruits and vegetables, like carrots and tomatoes. Their main purpose is to help prevent oxidative damage to cells and provide other important benefits. But it's their unique chemical structure that allows us to easily track the concentration of carotenoids in the skin using the biophotonic scanner. The scanner shoots a small beam of blue light through the skin, and when that light touches carotenoids, it changes to a green light and bounces back to the scanner. The device then detects this change and analyzes the amount of carotenoids found based on the intensity of the change. This is called Raman shift. This process is absolutely painless, and with our latest scanner, it takes just seconds. You see, skin carotenoid levels aren't something that significantly fluctuate or change over a matter of hours or days. It takes time for your nutrition and diet to reflect in your skin, which means that it's a more stable measurement that you can use to judge your regular habits, like eating more fruits and vegetables every day or taking a new supplement. And that's where the device's true business potential can shine. Customers are naturally hesitant about using their hard-earned money on a product that doesn't give them immediate results that they can see or feel. But with the Pharmanex Biophotonic Scanner, you can give them the proof they need. Nu Skin products that are Skin Carotenoid Score certified are guaranteed to increase your skin carotenoid score over time. Just scan before you use a certified supplement, then again every 6 to 8 weeks, and you'll be impressed when you see the change that's happening in your body. This visual proof can be an incredibly powerful tool and lends you credibility as an expert in the products you sell. When customers are able to track their progress, they're more likely to be satisfied with their purchases and become lifelong subscribers. Plus, the Biophotonic scanner is exclusive to Nu Skin and Pharmanex, so it gives you an important competitive advantage that no one else can offer. It's a great way to show that Nu Skin and Pharmanex are all about the proof and science of discovering the best you.
Welcome, everybody, to our call here today. For those of you that are new to us and I haven't had the opportunity to meet yet, my name is Dr. Steve Moore. I live in Jupiter, Florida, but I'm actually in Provo, Utah right now at the Nu Skin headquarters, getting ready to attend an exciting conference. And I got introduced to the scanner 21 years ago when it was in its infancy. At an event when I was living in the Silicon Valley. And at the time, I had just graduated from chiropractic school. I was trying to figure out what supplements to recommend to patients. I was looking to build a little business with supplements on the side. And I was overwhelmed with all the choices that were out there on supplements. How do you really know what supplements are working? And we really don't know. We really don't have a way of comparing unless we can measure things. And I didn't want to just buy some company's story. I wanted to have some proof that what I was going to recommend to people was going to work. I wasn't looking to get into a full-time business, just a part-time business that I was going to bring into my practice, maybe make a little bit of money on the side to help pay for some bills while I was studying with my boards and so forth. But as I started to learn more about the scanner, and as I started to see the impact it was making on people, and I started to take a look at the business opportunity, I knew that there was something more than just doing something on the side. And I ended up flying out to the Nu Skin and Pharmanex headquarters to take a deeper look at things. Because when I was living in the Silicon Valley, I had seen a lot of my friends do extremely well getting in front of technology launches during the whole dot-com boom. And I always kind of looked at things and I said, well, I'm going to be trading time for money for the rest of my life until I retire. If there is another way to create leveraged income through this business vehicle, I want to know about it because I didn't want to regret not taking action in the beginning. And so I went out to the company headquarters, was completely impressed, and decided that weekend that this is what I was supposed to do, that everything I had done up until now was just a stepping stone to get into this business. Over the years, I became a team elite, which is the top leader within the company. And it's really created an amazing life for myself, for my family. I met my wife a couple years after I got started. We've now been married for 16 years. We have 3 wonderful children. And the life that we've been able to have because of leveraged income through the Nu Skin opportunity is just so much better than what would have happened if I had gone into practice. It required a lot of hard work, a lot of focus. And one of the great things about this business is you can decide what your goals are. And when I started, I had a small goal, to meet some certain needs that I had, but that vision, those goals expanded over time. And what I loved about Nu Skin, and there was no limit to the earning potential through hard work and through consistency. My wife, my family, we've been able to travel the world. I work from home. My wife is able to stay home with the kids full time. And it's all because of a decision that I made 21 years ago, where a lot of people told me not to do this, not to do one of those network marketing things, not to walk away from being a doctor. I had spent 9 years of my life, a couple $100,000 in education to be the first doctor to my family. And I walked away from that immediately because there was no leverage in doing that. And so what we're going to do here is walk through a presentation here, and you can make a decision on what level you want to play at with the business. And so if we talk a little bit more about leverage, my friend Charlie Patterson and Scott Bennett talk about this quite a bit as well, because we all grew up in the business together. We were all young, when we started, and we had no leverage income. And we listened to a mentor of ours by the name of Nathan Ricks, who introduced us to the cash flow quadrant from Robert Kiyosaki. There's a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad that talks about this. And this was the first time that I really started to understand what leverage was, because to me, what leverage was investing, like retirement. Like one day, if I work really hard and when I'm 65 years old, if I invest wisely, I can have my money working for me, and then I don't have to work as much like my grandparents did. And that's what I thought things looked like. You'd have to go work for 40 years before you could have some leverage income. But as I started to look at this cash flow quadrant, I realized that there are a lot of other ways to create leverage income earlier on in life and to create more flexibility. Well, there's four ways really to make money. Is number one on the top left quadrant, E is an employee. This is someone that has a job, right? And someone that's trading time for money by the hour, by the year as a salary, right? And your income is completely tied to the amount of time that you're putting into your job. You're paid for your time, not necessarily for your production, right? And yes, some people are on commission sales, right? But what do? As soon as you hit your goals and your quotas, they chop your territory, raise your quotas, because they don't ever want you to be free. They want you always running on a treadmill, because that's what an employee is. It's running on a treadmill. Well, some people say, well, I want to be my own boss, and they go and they be self-employed, right? So I wanted to be my own boss. I thought being a doctor was the way to do that. My father was his own boss. He had a landscaping business, but I saw him work that job harder than any of his employees. And when he wasn't there working the job, the employees were goofing off, doing jobs that they weren't putting on the books and all kinds of things, right? So, being self-employed sounds great because you're the boss, but there are all kinds of problems that come with being self-employed or having some employees. And really, at the end of the day, you're still trading time for money. You just created a job for yourself. And so on the right hand of the quadrant, this is where you start to create leverage. And B stands for business owner. So these are business owners and not someone that just has a few employees. These are business owners that have hundreds of employees, where you have massive amounts of leverage, where the income continues to happen whether or not you show up. You're no longer trading time for money, right? You're leveraging the efforts of people, and you're paid based on the production of those people. And investing is another form of leverage, where you're making money based off your money, right? Your money is doing the work for you. And so the key here is to get out of the left side of this quadrant, get out of the E quadrant, get out of the self-employed quadrant, and move over to the B or the investor side as quickly as possible. And the business model that we're going to show you here today is a way to be able to do that without big capital investment, without risk, without employees, without overhead, right? Without having to hire a legal team, without a lot of the things that it typically takes to run a traditional business. So if you ever thought about being your own boss, having your own business, but being able to be in more control, then this is a business that you want to pay attention to and really evaluate here. So what we do here is, with Nu Skin, is we've got a competitive differentiation. All of the products are innovative. Many of them are patented that you can't get elsewhere. And Nu Skin is a market leader in their space. There's a turnkey system on how to build the business. So I had never done a business before. I had no idea how to build something like this. I'd never done direct sales, never had a team behind me. I mean, I sold stereo equipment when I was in college. I was pretty good at it, but that's very different than running a business. And so the system that I was able to learn and that you'll have access to, it will teach you how to be successful. You just got to show up and learn from some of the best leaders and successful people within our company. And we talked about inexpensive startup with essentially no risk, because you're leveraging the assets and the resources and the infrastructure of a very large publicly traded company. So when we're evaluating businesses, and whether it's this business or another one, there's really 5 key things that make up a good business. Very few businesses have all 5 of them. Some businesses might have 1 or 2 of these things. Some will have, a few of them, but very rarely do you see a business that passes all 5 of these. Number one, you've got to be in front of the market trends, right? The more the trends are in your favor, the easier it is to drive your product or your service into the marketplace. In other words, it gets easier if the demand or you're in front of a trend. The bigger the trend, the easier it's going to be for you. You've got to have a great company behind you, right? A company that's got integrity, right? That has infrastructure, that has capital resources, that has leadership. Because if the company doesn't do their job and you're partnered with them, then that's going to cause problems for you as well. And we'll talk about the company with Nu Skin here tonight. You need to have great products and technology that are not just innovative and patented, But if you want to have recurring revenue streams, having products that are consumable are important, because when a product is consumable, you can sell it once. And as that person continues to buy that product over and over and over again, you can create recurring revenue from that through a subscription model. Hewlett Packard is probably the best, kind of the first company that had this type of big model and went big time with it, where they had these, inkjet printers, and you had to buy the inks every time. The money wasn't in the printer, the money was really in the ink, the refillables, the consumables. Cell phone companies have a very similar model, right? They give you the cell phone at a discount because they want the contract of the minutes. The minutes that you buy every single month are the consumables there. So a lot of companies now are figuring out ways to have subscription-based services. Look at Microsoft, right? You don't really buy the software anymore. You license it on a monthly or annual basis now, because they want the recurring revenue, which creates predictable cash flow. So you make a sale one time and you continue to get paid. When I sold stereo equipment, I sold the TV once, I got paid once. I had to go find another customer to sell another TV or another speaker to. Customers weren't coming in every month to buy those things, right? And going and being a doctor and being a chiropractor, yes, patients keep coming in, but I have to keep doing the work to keep getting paid. When you put someone on a subscription of the products we're going to talk about here tonight, you do the work once, and as they continue to buy the products automatically through a subscription, you keep getting paid and you can grow this recurring revenue stream. And the compensation plan can be something small as a very side business, but it can be something quite large. I mean, some of the top performers in Nu Skin have averaged over $400,000 a year, according to our annual report. And so it's all about how big your appetite is. And then timing is a key thing here. This window that we're going in right now, as we're pre-launching the new PRYSM device, which we'll talk about, and we're going into a pre-launch of what we believe will be the biggest market in the world, India. There are some very unique windows that you can position in front of, and you want to get positioned in front of them right now and very quickly. And so we're going to skip this slide here and just talk a little bit about market trends, right? Social media, the world is connected today more than it's ever been. When I started the business 21 years ago, I got introduced through social media. It was an AOL instant message. That was about all we had to connect with people on social, right? It was sending people instant messages. Now people come with these huge networks in place. The world is connected. You've got Instagram, you've got LinkedIn, you've got Facebook, you've got Twitter, you've got all these things here that are connecting people. The world is connected, and now there's a way to monetize those connections where you can work from your home, you can work from a beach, you can work from another country, wherever you want to work, and you can do commerce online in 50 markets because of the way the world is connected. Anti-aging and health, there's a lot of money right now flowing into this. These are huge growing trends, not just in the US, but around the world. And technology and communications with Zoom. I mean, look at what we're doing here right now. All of you are on here for free. We're hosting a Zoom, and we've got people calling in from all over the country and internationally as well. And it's very easy to get messages out there. Like I know some of my mentors back in the day, they used to have to mail VHS tapes to people, FedEx, and then have them send it back. I mean, you think about how fast communication happens today, and those people made millions of dollars mailing out VHS tapes. Think about what's available today and how fast the business can go. And people's mindsets are changing, right? The workforce is changing. People no longer want to sit in a cubicle. A lot of people don't want to work for a company. They want to do their own thing. They want to have some type of independence. Whether you see people, I just took an Uber from the airport, right? People do that part-time, people do that full-time, right? They maybe do it a little bit to make some money real quick. My son is starting a business online, right? I've got a friend that sells what is it, sourdough bread, right? And there's apps on how she can sell that to people in her community. So most people now are doing something on the side. No, people are not thinking, I just need to go get a job and work for some company and that's going to be all there is to it. People are very open to looking at other opportunities, and we've got a really great one here with Nu Skin Enterprises. So let's talk about the company. But Nu Skin's been in business now for over 40 years. This isn't a startup company. You have a track record here. So what happens now when you get involved with Nu Skin, it becomes very predictable about where the business is going to go. You don't have that uncertainty of being involved with a startup company. I would never get involved in a startup company. There is way too much risk. There is that the companies usually go out of business. There's too many things that can go wrong. They just haven't figured things out yet, right? And so a lot of startup companies will entice you by saying, get in at the ground floor, right? You can be number, 478 in this company. But the problem is where's the company going? What's their track record? I'm not going to put myself, my family, my friends at risk by getting involved in a startup company. So you've got a company here that has the highest financial rating, working in over 40 markets, over $1 billion in assets. Startups don't have those assets. They don't have the research and development. Yeah, they can put together a pretty website and make things sound sexy and get people excited. But if you look behind the curtain, they don't have what an established company like Nu Skin has, right? Nu Skin's a publicly traded company, so everything's transparent, and they've been a Forbes top 5 most trustworthy company. They acquired a company called Pharmanex back in 1998, which was started by 3 of the top drug discovery scientists. These scientists were experts at looking at plants and natural compounds for drug discovery. And what they ended up doing was leaving the drug industry to take their natural discoveries that they had made to really bring the natural products to market. When you look at the supplement space, I've never seen any supplement companies that have this type of startup story like Pharmanex has. Joe Chang was over at Wyeth. Michael Chang was the former director of chemistry for Merck for 15 years. Carl Jurassic invented the birth control pill. So the level of science and understanding that these guys have is just at a much different level. The standards that they hold their teams to are a much different level than what you typically see in this space. They now employ about 70 full-time scientists. They present all over the world and publish research and so forth. And so this is a company that just has all this infrastructure in place that you're not going to find anywhere else. Over 200 exclusive products, tons of patents. And what they're able to do for the first time is target the sources of aging with their technology called AgeLock, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. Now, these are the headquarters of the Nu Skin and Pharmanex. The top right here is their innovation center. They just added a $200 million complex about 10 years ago to that. On the top left is our distributor training center. On the bottom right is a facility we have over in Asia. All these buildings are bought and paid for. They operate and own all of them and fully occupy these buildings. So amazing infrastructure within the company. And we'd invite you to come out and take a tour. I know when I came out to the headquarters, I said, this is a company I want to be part of. I have no doubt that this company is running things the right way. And I want to be involved at a high level. And you guys have such a great opportunity here to join us. The opportunity that you have today is way better than the opportunity that I had when I started 20 years ago. I truly believe that if you're willing to focus and work hard, that you can do what it took many of us 20 years to do. We believe you can do it in the next 2 to 5 years because of the window that we're going into. Now, Nu Skin does a lot of good around the world. They fed over 850 million meals to starving kids. This is a great initiative that they started years ago, and it's something that we all contribute to. So let's jump into the products and the science. Now, we talked about the importance of consumable products. And for me, being a doctor, there needs to be great science behind it. Now, when I first looked at the first biophotonic scanner, I said, great, some company made some gadget to go sell their product. But when I started to ask questions, I quickly learned that they actually didn't invent the device. The device was actually funded by the National Institute of Health, completely independently of Pharmanex. And it was originally developed to screen for risk factors of eye disease. And then it was expanded to cancer and heart disease and so forth when this was first in development. Now, it's not used for diagnostic purposes today. It's used to measure antioxidant levels. And when you have high levels of antioxidants in the body, you have a lot of protection from oxidative stress and free radical damage, which causes a lot of health issues and aging within the body. And the reason why Pharmanex acquired this technology and invested over $130 million to commercialize it is because for the first time, they finally had a way to prove that all the fancy science that they do behind closed doors can actually be demonstrated in the consumer's body, right? In other words, most people don't want to read all the studies or do all that stuff. I like to read that stuff, but most consumers don't. They just want to know, does it work and can I trust you? And if you look at things, we measure things, right? We measure our blood pressure, we measure our cholesterol, we measure a lot of things in the body. We would never just put someone on hormones without measuring their hormones. We would never just throw someone on blood pressure medication without knowing what their blood pressure is. But with supplements, we tend to just throw people on supplements, crossing our fingers, thinking it's going to work and thinking it's natural and therefore it's going to be fine for us. But most of the supplement companies actually don't deliver on their promises. And that's difficult for consumers to understand. And so the biophotonic scanner was the first device that could actually measure whether or not your supplements are working in your body, not in the lab, but in your body. And the device can do it very quickly, very accurately. It's very reproducible, and you can show results in a matter of a month or two, right? And so it's a really exciting technology, and it's been a very powerful instrument for myself to use to improve people's health. A lot of healthcare professionals use this as well, but it's a lot of people that want to help other people get healthy use it. I do scanning events in my kids' school to talk to children about improving their nutrition because our diet and our lifestyle are the number one problems when it comes to poor health. And I believe, and many other people in the industry believe, that this is the technology that we have been waiting for to change that, to shift the narrative towards what can I do to stay healthy versus what can I do to deal with poor health after it happens. And so we're excited about this technology and where it's going. And it answers this question, right? What supplement do you take and how do you know if it's working? We've all walked up and down the vitamin aisles, gone into GNC and had some teenager try to tell us what we should buy, gone over to Walmart and looked at thousands of bottles. How do you really know? How does the consumer know? It's a very confusing and very fragmented industry. And so people just pick something hoping it's going to work. Well, when you can measure and nobody else can, and Pharmanex and Nu Skin can guarantee and prove that their products will get a measurable result within 2 months or you get your money back, nobody else in the world can do that. And that is what creates a checkmate, unfair marketing advantage. And it allows us to make a very big impact to change behavior, to get people to care more about their health, to get people on supplements, and to keep them on supplements because we can show them that the Pharmanex products are working. 75% of people are taking a supplement. Over 50% are taking one every single day. Right. So this is a huge market. It's not hard to find people. If you just ask someone, do you take supplements? They'll probably say yes. And then if you ask them, have you ever wondered if they're working? They're going to say, yeah. And if you say, well, I can show you if they're working, they're going to say, well, how do I do that? And they're willing to switch and try a new product when you can offer a guarantee. And again, this is just a really great way to grow a business and to help make an impact. We believe that you deserve to know and consumers deserve to know that the money that they're spending on supplements are actually working in their body. And the only way we know if something's working, truly working, is we need to have some objective evidence, right? A lot of people can say they feel good, right? There's a lot of placebo. But when you can feel good and you can measure it, you can now make the connection that what you're actually taking, the supplements from Pharmanex, are actually working. And that builds consumer confidence and builds loyalty. The device can do it now in less than 30 seconds. It's a portable device. It costs a couple dollars to do the test. And when we test people, we find most people fail because of our diets. And so there's a huge market to talk to people, to show them and demonstrate to them how Pharmanex products, Pharmanex supplements can help them improve their score. And then we can track that score easily over time. People will get a baseline score. They'll start on the supplements, and in 2 months, they'll see an improvement or their money back. And then we'll typically see a maximum saturation in somewhere between about 4 to 5 months. And then you just want to keep it there, right? How long do you want to be protected for? Well, forever, every single day, because every single day, your body is being pounded by free radicals, whether it's from our environment or from our metabolism internally. Every time you breathe oxygen, you're creating free radicals. Every time you go out in the sun, you're being exposed to free radicals. The fragrances, the toxins, the contaminants in our environment are wreaking havoc on our bodies. And so our bodies have repair mechanisms and protective mechanisms. The primary line of defense for the cell are antioxidant. This is why knowing your antioxidant score is so important if you want to have good health. And most people do not have a very good score. So we're going to skip through here and show you guys the innovation of this. Now, when I started, it was a big device on the left-hand side here. We literally were carrying around a trombone case that was retrofitted to put these S1 first generation scanners in there. And you know what? We thought it was absolutely incredible because before the S1 scanner, the device that was at the University of Utah was the size of an MRI machine. I mean, it wasn't, if you wanted to get scanned, you had to fly to Utah, go to the Huntsman Cancer Institute to go get scanned. That was the only way that you could get scanned. So being able to have something portable was absolutely incredible. And what the company did, like many technologies, is as they invested, because they have the infrastructure and the capital resources to do so, I don't think there's any other supplement company that would have been able to pull this off, right? $130 million invested over time to go to the S2 scanner in the middle here, to the S3, which we've built a huge business with. And now it's going into the palm of your hand, right? This new device called PRYSM literally fits in your pocket. And it has not only the capabilities to measure antioxidants, but it will soon have the capabilities to do a lot more. You start to think about Fitbit and Oura rings and Apple watches. People are monitoring their health and their fitness, but they're not able to monitor their nutrition in an easy way. They're not able to really monitor how well how their body is aging or how their skin is aging. Well, this little device the size of a hockey puck will soon be able to do all of those things. And we believe that anyone that's interested in improving the health for themselves and their family will have one of these in their household. We believe that the market potential is 10 million plus devices out there, right? We've built a billion-dollar brand with 5,000 biophotonic scanners, right? That's about how many S3 scanners are out there. What do you think is going to happen when there are millions of these PRYSM devices out there? Think about the impact and the market domination that Pharmanex is going to have, and you can be part of that because every one of these devices that goes into the market, as they acquire customers, you receive revenue for the lifetime value of the activity of those customers, recurring income for life, right? And it's all a game of who can get the most of these PRYSM devices out there and get the most customers out there. Now, unlike when I first started, where there was a lot of uncertainty on the scanner because it was a new technology, it was really ahead of its time. Now there are over 115 published studies on the device. It's been featured all over the news, including Dr. Oz. They've won awards like the American Business Awards, along with Apple Computer. They've been published with Stanford University. The company has worked with the US Olympic team. I mean, it's just amazing what's happened. It is now very predictable what will happen with this PRYSM device. You think about the impact that we've been able to make with these big devices with just a few thousand of them. This is very predictable about where it's going. What we don't know is who's going to dominate that market share because we believe that the highest paid distributors have not even come into the company yet, right? Maybe it's you, maybe it's a friend of yours, maybe it's someone that you introduced to the business that you can benefit from. But this is all a business on who do you know and to create that vision of where this thing is going. Now, LifePak is our flagship product. It's a comprehensive formula. It has a certification to improve your antioxidant score. It has 7 formulas built into one. This is a product that I have personally taken for over 20 years. My wife and I personally take it. 2 of our kids take this product, and it is the #1 selling subscription-based product on the nutritional side of Pharmanex. And if you're not taking this product, I would highly recommend you do it because if you're taking supplements from somewhere else, the likelihood is they're probably not doing a good job protecting your body from oxidative stress by boosting your antioxidants. That's why you need to measure and get started on this to see how you can do. Now, in addition to foundational nutrition with LifePak, we can also target the sources of aging at a genetic level, literally targeting your genes to reset your genes and essentially retune them to function like they did when you were younger. This science is called Age Lock. It is proprietary and exclusive to Nu Skin and Pharmanex. It's based on gene chip technology where we can measure the impact of how your genes function when you're young versus what they look like when you get older. Think of an instrument, right? An instrument gets out of tune as it gets older and as you play it. So, and it's not going to sound really good if you don't tune that instrument up. Well, the same thing happens with your genes. They get out of tune as you get older, and that's why your body starts to age. And there's never really been a way to tune your genes because we've never been able to measure aging at a genetic level until now. So this technology allows us to not only measure aging, but allows us to develop products to reset aging too. We believe that the biophotonic scanner coupled with AgeLock will make a huge impact and will really dominate the marketplace, much like other ways of monitoring health has been too. Pharmanex has a line of supplements that are certified to improve your score. You can learn more about those. And man, when this little device comes out, it is going to rock the world, and it's coming out this year. Now is your time to position in front of it and to position yourself to have this recurring leverage type of compensation. Here are some of the average incomes. You can see there at the bottom, the average Blue Diamond director made $36,000 a month into 2023 from the company. And there are hundreds of people that are at this level within the company. So there's never been a better time than now. We're at this innovative tipping point. We're going from, we finally have a technology now that's not only proven itself into the marketplace, but now we have the ability to scale it to the masses. And when you can scale something to the masses, you can do very well financially. We're moving from 5,000 devices to 25,000 here in the next few months. Then we'll start moving into the millions. And this will all be part of a personalization ecosystem, right? It's not going to stop with the PRYSM. The PRYSM will be connected to DNA testing, microbiome testing, and other ways for people to understand how their body is aging. And that creates very loyal, engaged customers. Think of anyone that has an Apple product, pretty much everything they have is Apple, because Apple has figured out how to create an ecosystem where everything works together. And they figured out through their devices how to drive recurring revenue through the App Store. Right. And so the apps that Nu Skin has are the products, they're the consumable products. The devices and the technology are what teach people how their body is aging and what they can do about it, and then shows them that what they're doing is working. India is going to be a huge market. We predict that India will be $1 billion market. Now is your time. If you know anybody from India, whether they're here in the US, Canada, or some other parts in the world, now would be a great time to start thinking about them, to position. And you never know what one person can do in the marketplace as you go into India. So what do you do next? So the key is you get started today. Now, I got started and I did a little bit of due diligence, or quite a bit, right? But if you look at things here today, the faster you can get started, the better. A lot of the business you're going to learn as you get involved. What I would recommend doing is get a free account today, talk to the person that invited you onto this webinar, start your 90-day transformation of products. Your sponsor can help you get started with a kit, and you can position yourself in front of one of the biggest waves that we think is ever going to hit our economy here. We do these calls almost every single day except for Saturday. So myself and other top leaders within the company are here for you to invite guests to help you grow your business. We all work together. We all collaborate with one another. And this is what we would recommend doing to get started. These are the top Pharmanex products. We would recommend that you get familiar with these products. And the best way you get familiar with the products are to put them in your body, right? I really learn things after I buy them and I start using them, right? And so as you start using these products, this is what a kit that the top leaders have put together to help you get familiarized and get health benefits, because the better the benefits and the results that you get, the easier it's going to be to talk to other people about it. This package is close to $600. We've bundled it to you to get a discount. And for $480, you're in business in 40 countries, right? You're positioned in front of the launch of this. That's really all it takes to get started in the business. And if you're not in a position to do this, there are some other options. You can talk to your sponsor about that. But thank you for your time today, and hopefully we'll see you guys here in Provo, Utah, in the near future. Have a great evening, everybody. Bye bye.
Hi. Hello?